Ali. And again, welcome, Bante.
Thank you, Liz. Let me share my screen first. Okay, you can see the screen, right?
Yes, beautiful.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Sirinanda Unaliye, a PhD candidate from University of the West. In accordance with the this year's South Asian Studies Association theme, South Asian Resilience, Environments, Politics, and Economics, I have selected my topic, the practice of mindfulness in Sri Lanka. Abstract. Mindfulness is a broadly spoken topic nowadays all around the world. Mindfulness means being aware of the body and the mind. On one side, political, economic, and health crisis issues are growing faster, while some people seek to develop inner peace and spirituality. My paper will discuss the contemporary mindfulness practice carried out in Sri Lanka. One of the significant concepts is Satipasala, in English, Mindfulness School. This program primarily focuses on the younger generation rather than adults, so we can make hopes about the spiritually developed next generation. Mindfulness in Buddhism. The concept of mindfulness is a key word in Buddhist teachings, which is known in Pali scriptures as sati and in Sanskrit smriti. Sati denotes two meanings in Buddhism, memory and mindfulness. If we look at the definitions for mindfulness, meaning of the mindfulness according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary is the quality or state of being mindful. The second meaning is the practice of maintaining a non-judgmental state of heightened or complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences on moment-to-moment basis. Mindfulness becomes a principal practice of Buddhism since it is a part of the Noble Eightfold Path as Samma Sati, right mindfulness. Apart from that, Sati has been identified as a quality in 5 faculties, Pancha Indriya, and also in 5 powers, Pancha Bala, and 7 awakening factors, Satta Bojjhanga. The practice of Sati is defined in the Satipatthana Sutta, which is called the 4 establishments of mindfulness. According to the Satipatthana Sutta, mindfulness needs to be developed focusing the physical body, Kaya Anupassana, and feelings, Vedana Anupassana, and consciousness, Chitta Anupassana, and Dhamma Anupassana, mindfulness of the Dhamma. Since it has been such a major practice, Buddhist meditation practitioners urge people to develop mindfulness for their spiritual progress. Or trending mindfulness. Even though mindfulness has roots from Buddhist meditation, it has become a trending secular practice in the contemporary world. John Kabat-Zinn, who is an American professor, founded the mindfulness-based stress reduction MBSR program. He launched it in 1979 at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. Since then, a lot of research and studies have been documented about the mental and physical health benefits of practicing mindfulness as a therapy. It was considered as the start of the trend of practicing mindfulness. Nowadays, mindfulness has become a popular practice of schools, prisons, hospitals, and veteran centers. The American Psychological Association's definition for mindfulness is comprehensive and important to know the psychological definition for mindfulness. Awareness of one's internal states and surroundings, the concept has been applied to various therapeutic and interventions. For example, mindfulness-based cognitive behavior therapy, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and mindfulness meditation to help people avoid destructive or automatic habits and responses by learning to observe their thoughts, emotions, and other present moment experiences without judging or reacting to them. Then I would like to move on to mindfulness practice in Sri Lanka. Since being a Buddhist country, in Sri Lanka, each village has at least one Buddhist temple. And in urban areas, it is more than one temple for a town. Meditation is one of the 3 Buddhist practices. The 3 practices are dana, practicing generosity, sila, that means observing precepts, and bhavana, that means meditation. Most Buddhists in Sri Lanka are interested in offering dana, alms and requisites for the monks and nuns and for the temples, rather than performing other two practices. Observing precepts is also practiced by them, but less people are interested in meditation as a whole. Forest monasteries, which is called Aranya, and meditation centers are famous for teaching and practicing meditation. Since they have a serene background and environment for the meditation, being mindful is the key of meditation. As Satipatthana Sutta explains, mindfulness should be developed starting from the breath, then body movements, and so on. Unless somebody has an interest, willingness, and effort, practicing mindfulness and meditation could be boring. Therefore, some Buddhists are too lazy to practice meditation, thinking that it's a very hard activity. During the past 2 decades, there was an evocation, especially among the younger generation in Sri Lanka, towards practicing Buddhism. With the development of social media and technology, interestingly, people were searching for Buddhist teachings, even from original texts. Then I would like to pay my attention to inspiring mindfulness project in Sri Lanka. The meaning of Satipasala is the school of mindfulness. This was a concept designed by Most Honorable Uda Iriyagama Dhammajiva Mahathera, who is the incumbent and chief meditation teacher at Mitirigala Nissaranawane Meditation Forest Monastery in Sri Lanka. Mindfulness is taught at every meditation center, and they have various activities of practicing that. The founder's concept was to introduce practicing mindfulness to school children in their daily activities. We know that in Western countries and some other countries, mindfulness is being practiced as a therapy and also a mind healing activity. As the founding venerable mentions, his purpose was to teach the young generation to be mindful and succeed their goals with mental happiness. The most important aspect of this project is that students from every faith join this practice regardless of their faith, because practicing mindfulness is common to every human for a peaceful mind. He started the project in 2016 through selected schools nearby his center. Then he was able to spread it to other areas in Sri Lanka. The instructors identify another important fact, that teaching mindfulness for the younger generation is much easier than teaching it to adults. Children happily embraced the practice and succeeded day by day. Then next, let's move on to the practice of their project. If we consider practices of the Satipasala project, mindfulness school, they are simple activities that we do in our daily routine. Mindfulness walking, mindfulness eating, mindfulness sitting, mindfulness brushing, mindfulness showering, mindfulness stretching, mindfulness cleaning, mindfulness listening, etc. Apart from that, children and even adults are very interested in mindfulness games, which help them to be mindful and achieve a goal. Some of the mindfulness games are balancing and walking on the line, passing the ring, balancing a lime on a spoon, passing around a bowl of water, collecting straws, collecting water using hands, etc. These games help practitioners to stay mindfully and achieve their goal at the same time. As mentioned earlier, this project has been started in the selected schools nearby the meditation center, but now it has been spread throughout the country, that every school has an allocated time for practicing mindfulness in their timetable. The project committee has prepared textbooks with relevant instructions and lessons. Also, they are practicing schools teachers to guide students. By now, mindfulness training sessions are not only limited to schools. University students and teachers, teachers training institutions, and doctors, nurses, and healthcare providers. Some government and private offices also urge their employees to learn and practice mindfulness. After successfully spreading the concept in Sri Lanka, they could introduce the Satipasala concept to some other countries such as the USA, Canada, Australia, and Slovakia. Satipasala online programs help for the people who want to practice mindfulness who are living far away. Expected outcome from Satipasala. Education experts have believed, when this concept was introduced, that after practicing mindfulness in schools, there will be a significant change in the students' behavior and education as well. According to school principals and teachers' comments, students have been enjoying practicing mindfulness in their classes, and they have developed some of their educational skills and personality. Students being more attentive to lessons, being less aggressive, less emotional in a positive way. And practicing mindfulness not only develops inner peace and happiness, but it helps to interact and co-work peacefully with others. Especially in a diverse society, people need to be patient, appreciative, and practice the forgiveness and be compassionate. According to Western mindfulness programs, they identify 4 main benefits. Improved attention, which means a better performance on objective tasks that require an extensive concentration span, and emotional regulation. That means mindfulness creates changes in the brain that correspond to less reactivity and better ability to engage in tasks even when emotions are activated. Then greater compassion. People who develop mindfulness are more likely to help someone in need and have a greater self-compassion. Reduction of stress and anxiety. Mindfulness reduces feelings of stress and improves anxiety and distress when placed in a stressful social situation. So these are the qualities needed to have a peaceful society. If the younger generation would practice mindfulness starting from this project, we can have a hope for a much more peaceful future in Sri Lanka. So this is my conclusion. Mindfulness, being aware of the body and the mind, a key teaching of the Buddhism, has been a practice for meditation in its long history. Understanding the value of being mindful, disregarding the faith or nationality, an acceptable number of people all around the world are practicing mindfulness, seeking for a peaceful mind, and sometimes as a psychotherapy treatment. The concept of Satipasala, the school of mindfulness, is spreading all over Sri Lanka, aiming at developing the young generation's personality, is a remarkable effort. This kind of project brings up the ancient wisdom as a heritage for the modern world. So this is my reference, and thank you very much.
Thank